Good morning.
Good morning. Did we tag our pages in this? Oh, no, we couldn't.
Yeah, it didn't tag us last time, so no.
We'll work it out.
We will. Welcome to the drive, everyone.
Welcome. Good morning.
Happy Saturday. I think we're feeling pretty good this morning.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we're not going to have any technical difficulties.
No, and we're not parked. We're driving today.
We are driving. Thank you, because since we're part of the 330 to Go Media Network,
Right, we
got the hookup. We got a thing on our window that is not bouncing around. I think we could even go down the brick road.
Oh my God, we can turn and the camera won't fall.
What? Moving on up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wrong song. All right. All right. What a beautiful day, huh?
It is a gorgeous day out here. I never know when we're going to turn the music down.
I think we can do it now. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about.
The breakdown.
Oh, yeah, I do like the breakdown.
Okay.
Maybe that's where we should stop it, where it goes, woo! So we
Right.
could do that and then stop it.
Oh, yeah, we get the woo every Saturday morning. Good morning again.
Good morning.
Welcome to the drive.
So
it's us.
it is.
I am going to introduce that because I was about to introduce myself. This is my business partner and road dog, Cowboy.
I like it. I
like
like
it?
it.
Road dog?
Yep. And
Okay.
if any of you follow me on Facebook, you know that this week I called Brenda my life confidant.
Oh, yeah.
Because I needed to talk to her really bad, and it worked out perfect because you were just a few minutes away, and I got to
did.
support your healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, she
And
had
we
me
got-
like a super healthy drink waiting for me, and freaking cauliflower, like buffalo cauliflower. That was so good.
If you're local to Akron, mustard seed,
Yes.
cauliflower, buffalo, the bomb.
It
Oh,
is
good morning. We got like all kinds of hellos on there.
Let me get
Good morning,
to
good
that.
morning. So, don't forget to share the drive, but today let's talk about what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
We're still on our series of healthy boundaries.
We are. So today, what we're going to do is continue on. And what we realized the first week that we had this discussion is that healthy boundaries are different depending on the reason that you're setting the boundary. If it's a relationship that you want to continue, then that boundary naturally looks a little bit different than a relationship that you don't necessarily want to continue. So today, we are talking about relationships that you
want to salvage.
that you do want to salvage.
Yeah.
So we will be giving you guys your tangible takeaways. We'll have those and kind of talk about those during the show, and we'll kind of go into detail about that.
Yeah, I'm excited because I didn't realize until we started talking about it. So we don't do a ton of prep for this. We kind of get an
Right.
idea of what we're going to talk about. But the whole point of this is to be a little more organic when it comes to
Authenticity.
yeah, when it comes to the conversations, and to kind of be what they would be normally if we weren't talking on here.
Right.
So yeah, we were very, very different on what we were thinking in terms of what boundaries were and why we set them. So last week, if you want to go back and watch episode 7, it was about
Yes.
boundaries for yourself. And yeah.
So, I mean, this has been eye-opening for me. Now I'm kind of analyzing, like I had already come to the point to where I was analyzing like my relationships and how I want those to be and what I want them to look like.
Right.
And now with these healthy boundaries, I'm digging a little bit deeper and figuring out why that. Like, this is helping me. I'm actually going through the steps. I'm doing all of this. Good morning, Latanya. I'm doing all of the steps that we're talking about, realizing that I was talking about it and I wasn't necessarily doing it.
Well, and I think these conversations have helped me too. They've helped me have a little more direct communication when it comes to my boundaries.
Right.
Because I am clearer on it. And I think anytime you get clear on something, then it makes it easier to start taking some action on it.
That's true.
Because that's that whole like fogginess that for anything when you set goals, any of that kind of stuff. So I think it's been really, really good.
Right.
And just like anything else, by the way, I listened to your interview with Shelley Dryman on.
I haven't listened to it yet. I hate listening to myself.
Oh my gosh! Please go back and listen to it. It's so good. It's so good.
Is it?
Oh my gosh!
Check out my interview with Shelley Dryman, Women Over 50, A Life Redesigned. It's on YouTube. It's on her website, which is I think ShelleyDrymond.com. DRYMOND.
It's a podcast too.
Yes, and it's a podcast, so it is on YouTube. And it was I enjoyed it. Talking to her was really awesome.
She's so good.
She is. She's a great interviewer.
She's really, and I was going back and listening to some of the other ones because I'm like, I know her guests are like amazing.
Right.
And yeah, the one that she did the week before you was what I was listening to this morning, and it's so good. Oh my gosh, you guys definitely go check her out. Huh?
And you had an interview too with her.
I did.
So
yeah.
Kat has one on YouTube somewhere.
And
too.
I need to share. Well, if you look up the Women Over 50, A Life Redesigned, and don't worry about the age thing. That's what I thought was kind of cool. Okay, I'm totally going to talk about this for just a second.
Okay.
Off our topic.
It's a little off topic.
It's going to be totally off topic.
That's what it's about. That's what we do around these parts.
I thought it was so cool because she's like, I don't know how old you are, Brenda, but, I wish I would have known earlier than I knew, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and it hit me, like the age difference, but it didn't matter.
It did not at all. That's what stood out for me, like in that interview, just realizing how much of a correlation that
you guys had a lot in common.
Right.
We all do. We all do. We just don't feel like we do. But anyway, okay, so let's talk about boundaries. I'm sorry.
So, back to healthy boundaries. Again, today we are specifically talking about the relationships that we want to salvage and the best way to set boundaries for them. So the first tangible takeaway when it comes to how to set boundaries with the person who you want to continue this relational connection with is to take care in how you communicate what the boundary is. And I had an example here. In some instance, you may want to do a little bit more explaining so that you can develop a mutual understanding. I think a lot of the time we get caught up in, well, I don't have to explain myself, and that's true, you don't. But if this is a relationship that you want to salvage, and
that's a really good point,
right? And you're changing the dynamics by setting this new boundary that clearly wasn't in place before.
Yep.
Then in essence, you kind of owe it to that person to give a little bit of an explanation. This is why this is a new boundary for me, and this is why it's important.
And I think it goes back to maybe what we even said would have been 2 weeks ago. A great way to preface hard conversations is to say, this is a hard conversation for me to have.
Totally using that since you said it.
It's so good. It makes it easier to have that. It's an icebreaker, if you will.
It is.
And I love that to take some time to explain to the person so that it is going to save the relationship. Because if you just set a boundary, first of all, if you don't communicate it, how are they going to know it's been set?
Exactly.
And second of all, it does show that you respect the relationship. And that's probably something you could say is, I want this relationship to be stronger. I want it to be better. And, I think this is something that we can do, or, it becomes... What are your thoughts on this? It becomes a little bit more of a team effort at that point.
Right. That's why I'm like, then it becomes more of a mutual agreement, because if this person, loves and respects you as well, then they don't want you to feel whatever way it is that it's making you feel. So they're like, oh yeah, I don't want to make you feel that way. I don't want to add to whatever it is that you're feeling. So yes, that is something that I'm willing to change, which is awesome, because I was really bad with that. Like, I don't have to explain nothing to you. Just don't do it no more.
Oh, yeah.
So I was really good with that, but
I want to have a topic sometime about, so when I hear that somebody makes you feel some way, I don't feel like they can make you feel that way. And I know you and I differ a lot on that one.
We do.
So I think we should have...
That'll be a good show topic.
Yeah, because
maybe after we're done with this. I don't know. We say everything. Every show we come up with, we're like, we're going to do it after we do this. So that's a show that's coming soon. Hold on, somebody's boy. Hey, Tasha. Hey, Amanda. Welcome, ladies. Are we moving to the next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you want to say about that one?
No, I think I'm good with that one. So we're just taking care in how we communicate what the boundary is. Number 2, the second tangible takeaway is allow a healthy margin for error. This is new. This is a new boundary that you're setting, and clearly the previous relationship had this behavior, this action, or this thing, and it was okay up until this point. So understand that you're making a change in the dynamics of your relationship. relationship, and that person has probably adjusted to whatever they used to do. So they might not be perfect when they're first abiding by this boundary that you're setting.
I'm kind of chuckling because I set a boundary, and then like when it was crossed, I was like, fine, I'm going back. Never mind, I'm done.
I'm through. I'm over it. We are so freaking dramatic.
No, but like for real though, I'm so glad that you said that, because I didn't give room for error. Like it really was a one and done. So it was the first time, like a one and done. First time, and I'm like, okay, forget it then. Never mind. I guess we're going back to the old way.
Oh, wow.
So I really, really like that you said that. And what popped into my head when you were talking about it was we talk, and when we dig into SEER, we talk about the neural pathways, right? We talk about how our brain is wired to the point, like, it's efficient, and so it's like, I already know this. It's really a behavior that they're going to have to relearn.
Right. They're retraining their brains. Create new neural pathways with new behaviors.
So I don't know, and what would be your suggestion if somebody did, and I'm thinking about this too, like what mine would be, but if somebody did, then once you set the healthy boundary, you're giving them a little bit of leeway, they've crossed that boundary.
Well, I think that some things that we do are just so automatic that they may not even realize that they've resorted to this old behavior. I think it's fair for you to go, hey, remember what we talked about before that thing? Yeah, you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then for them to go, oh, wow. And they'll likely, in most cases, go, oh, wow, I didn't even realize I have gone back into that.
Yeah.
So I think it's just kind of a reminder, because I do, out of habit, just doing the same thing or reacting the same way or being the same way with people, not realizing, again, that they've set a boundary.
So mature to have that kind of conversation with somebody. Like, that just feels like such a mature relationship.
It is, because
like,
there's a certain something that you have to have. I was actually talking with somebody about, I'm sorry, about,
I know what it was.
I lost my whole train of thought. I lost my whole train of thought, I promise. What was I even talking about?
I don't know, I wasn't listening. I'm just kidding.
Oh, God. We were talking about...
It was, somebody help us out on what she was talking about? No, it was because it felt mature. It was a mature thing to do, to be like, if you're having that kind of that kind of conversation with somebody. I mean, that really is, when you talk about, like, setting a boundary. Are you still giggling? I love it.
Because it was something about communicating and we were talking about that being a healthy form of communication, when you actually tell somebody, hey, this is a problem. And how do you strengthen a relationship if you don't allow somebody to give you constructive criticism, if you don't allow them to let you know when something's not great? How do you improve or get better? Because we usually don't know the crap that we're doing that sucks. It usually takes somebody to go, hey, that thing you're doing, it really sucks.
Yeah. And that takes a certain level of, like, self-reflection that you're able to do.
Right.
And
hang on, we're gonna go to some comments really quick.
Okay.
Latanya said, very good information. Can't hold someone accountable to something they don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You have to let them know.
So true.
And I think I had a habit with that. I was definitely one of those you should just know type chicks. Like, if I get mad at, like, a boyfriend or somebody I was dating, and I'm like, you should know why I'm mad. And it's like, did you think he was going to read your mind? I mean, and to some degree, I do think that it becomes our responsibility to learn like, if it's a significant other, their patterns and behavior. So I do think you start to learn what'll piss people off.
Yeah.
And you should try to steer clear of that, but they really don't know unless you actually say something, especially guys.
Yeah. No, but I feel like I might be that way. I might be kind of oblivious.
Really?
Well, I mean, if you're not doing it intentionally, and I think you're right, it's different for everyone, because we've had people have, kind of talk to us about what might piss someone else off, or they might perceive it a certain way, maybe not piss somebody else off and they perceive it that way.
Exactly. That's true. It's all about perception. And I think that while we are not responsible for how somebody receives whatever it is that we say. I think it is our responsibility to make sure that we're delivering it in a way that's well intended, and you know what I mean. Like
sure.
once you,
yeah.
as long as I put it out there, right, it's not my problem how you received it, and I get that. But I think we do have to be mindful of how we communicate this.
And I think when you say it's not my problem, I know you don't mean it this way, but I think. Because in this kind of thing,
I might mean it that way.
Right? But I think if you're trying to salvage the relationship, I think saying, you know, you could even say, "How are you receiving this? How are you feeling?" Like once you said it, what's coming up for you right now?
Do you know that it's
coachy or
those things right there that you say that help me so much? Like just saying what you mean and mean what you say. I think there's so many different euphemisms, and people kind of talk around exactly what the issue is, and nobody goes, "Hey, let's talk. This is a different this is a difficult conversation. Talk about it. Okay, how does this make you feel? I sense that you might be feeling a little kind of way. What's that about?" Or whatever. Like, we don't really have conversations to develop an understanding. We kind of have conversations to make people shut up.
Well, and it's you know what it is, and I'm guilty of this too. See, so those are coaching conversations that we're having. That's why it's so easy and it comes out that way.
You know what? That's true.
I get in my amygdala and I'm like,
"Don't wait me,
Amy G," and I'm saying it's because we're defending ourselves. A lot of times we're trying to explain and defend ourselves versus understand the other person.
Ooh, listen to you. That was good, girl.
That felt good.
Amanda said, "I used to be like, I don't do anything wrong, but man, I was full of it." I think that we try to hold that space. Like, it's not me, it was them. And we talk about relationships. When you leave a relationship and people are like, "Why are you not in that relationship no more?" You're always, "Oh, because they." And again, I had a conversation the other time, recently, and somebody was like, "Well, how do your relationships usually fall out?" Like, don't get me wrong, they suck. And I was like, I can be a real, you know what, sometimes. So I mean, I know my flaws. I'm definitely not perfect.
How do my relationships end? I run from them as fast as I can. No,
right?
I'm not saying you. I'm saying
I'm saying no, me too. So
we're great to date.
We are. I can't
this is gonna be. Yeah, can we edit this out? Can we edit live stuff?
No, this is out there for the world to see. So raw and uncut. Okay. So tangible takeaway number 3 is know when the connection is no longer worth strengthening. This is a very difficult place to come to, especially. First of all, I know for me, I'm like, listen, I done put all this work into this situation. Oh, it's gonna work. I don't have time and energy to be putting into something else. But that's how, there was a meme, it was on Facebook, and there was somebody, they had a rope wrapped around their hand, and their hand was all red and tearing and ripping, and they said sometimes it hurts more to hold on than to let go.
Yes, I've seen that. That's so good.
Right, so it's sometimes you have to understand that these people come to the point, so maybe they don't want to abide by your boundaries. Maybe they don't want to respect these boundaries, and if the boundaries are really that important to you, it could come to the point to where you're like, you know what, I don't think this is going to work for me anymore.
Yeah, and I think kind of two things. One is I think we have to find a balance, because I know for me, there are times where it can be really easy for me to be like, okay, I'm done. I'm not letting go too early and not putting anything into it. Mm-hmm. And then on the flip side, more of what you're talking about, and really probably more about this kind of stuff, like what, when is it time to let go? And I think letting go can look different too.
That is very true. Very, very, very true. I have people in my life in certain situations where I've let go of them, and I've let go of my expectations of them. So now I can still love them because I don't expect them to be anything more than what they've shown me that they are.
Oh, see,
so
I
it's
like
so
that.
you're not going to respect my boundaries, and that's fine. So I'm going to keep you in this place because I love you, and I might still want you to be in my life. I just don't want you on this part of my life. You can stay over here. And now my expectations have now adjusted to what you've shown me, and until you show me anything differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally do. And I think that's I'd love to know what other people are experiencing too, with setting their boundaries and what they're, whether it's letting go or you know what I mean, salvaging the relationship or letting go and things like that. But I think I forgot what I was going to say after I asked that question.
Were you going to ask it directly? So, let us know while you guys are on here. Is that where you were going?
I wasn't, but I'm glad you did. I'm
so
glad
while
you were more
Kat's
direct.
remembering what she was about to say, because we've done that the whole show. We'll get to it. Let us know what sort of issues that you may be experiencing with healthy boundaries. Are you having relationships that you want to let go of or keep? Or are you having issues establishing healthy boundaries with yourself? Just how has this series resonated with you thus far?
Oh, that's way better than how I would have said it.
Oh.
So, good job. So, no, what I was going to say was, like, the whole letting go and just allowing people to be who they are. Like, that was one of the biggest, I think, life-changing things for me in regards to relationships, is not expecting people to be what I needed them to be.
Right.
Like, just allowing them to be who they are and then figuring out
where they fit
in my life accordingly. And
if they fit.
If they fit. And sometimes that feels a little like, I'll just decide where you fit in my life. But I think truly some people, and I think everyone can relate to this, some people when you're around them you feel great, when you're around them you don't feel great. So how can you manage that relationship in a way that's healthy?
Right, I agree. And I don't necessarily feel like, well, sometimes I can be a little, I don't know what to call it, but I don't really mind that kind of haughty air of, I'll decide where you belong in my life, because I believe that's where, like, self-love comes into play, and it's not about you. This is no longer about you.
Right,
this is not,
right.
I'm not saying that you suck as a person per se, but I am saying, right, if that might be the case, but usually that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that whatever it is that you're doing does not correlate with what it is I'm trying to do in my life. So there's no point in us trying to make this situation work.
Yeah, but it kind of goes back to the delivery that you talked about way before.
Oh, yeah.
And your intention and all that, because I do think that it can...
Amanda said, I'm trying to learn what toxic behavior is enough before I let go, and if I should let go.
That word toxic just makes
I was going to say,
drop
anytime
it like a hot potato.
I have a visceral reaction when I hear people use the word toxic as it relates to their relationships.
Yeah.
If you are using the word toxic, I don't know what relationship Amanda's talking about. I don't know where, but if you have to use the word toxic to describe your relationship with whomever, let it go. Because they're,
and it could be let it go or let it be.
Right. That's, woo! Listen, honey. Let it go or let it be. Oh, I love it. I swoon. What is this? That is so freaking awesome. Oh my God, I like that. That was really good. Sorry, y'all, but that was really good. You know what? I'm applying that in my head right now.
Yeah, let it go or let it be. That was a divine download right there. You guys just witnessed a divine download. That's not of me, that was through me. Yeah, that's what it is though.
But I do have to kind of go back just a little bit. Again, remember that we're talking about healthy boundaries. So I think it bodes a little introspection to make sure it really is toxic and it's not the way that you're perceiving. Because what I've learned, and this is just for me, so this might come out a little bit weird because this is something that I've applied in my life and it's been helpful. There were situations that I was involved in that I considered to be toxic, but it was because of my own issues, my own limitations, my own expectations. So once I adjusted those, the situations were no longer toxic. It was kind of how I was processing them in my head.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, like, I think there were times when I became more at peace with myself.
Right.
You know what? And I'm, of course, I think about the brain all the time. All the time. But I'm thinking about like literally toxicity in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm constantly having toxic thoughts, which stress is just manifestations of toxic thoughts.
Exactly.
So if I'm having these toxic thoughts all the time, then my brain is toxic. And I this word, I think, kind of gets overused a little bit.
The word toxic?
Yeah. But I feel like I'm overusing it a little bit. But anyway.
I think you are.
So I'm going to, like, any information that I'm receiving, perceiving, whatever it is coming through that toxic filter. So,
yes. So I think for Amanda's question, I think the first part is to analyze the situation for what it actually is. What works for me in those kind of situations is to actually write it down. Write down exactly what's bothering me about the situation, what's happening, and then I write down the why to each one of those things. And if the why is something that I can change, then I make every effort to make those changes. If this is just the behavior of a person that is toxic for you and it's affecting in a negative way your emotional wellness, then you need to just let the situation go.
Yeah, I think we can start to, like, when we're really in a good place, we can start to ask the question, and what am I doing to contribute to this?
Yes, that is something that I do daily. Like, because I still have the parts of me that, like, those damaged inner parts of me that I have to navigate on a regular basis. We all do.
Right. I think that was something, like, for me, I used to compare my damaged parts to other people's and be like, well, I shouldn't be as damaged.
Oh, that drives me crazy.
No, in a way that I would be like, well, I shouldn't feel as bad because I didn't have that experience. But, you know, I think it's really normal. That's that comparison that a lot of us have.
Right.
So, anyway, it's what I said on the very first show.
What's that?
We're all screwed up.
We are.
We're all screwed up.
We are. LaTanya said, I reinvented friends to a relationship, and I see the same behaviors, so I'm learning to not re-engage every relationship if the person doesn't want to change. That's important.
That's really good.
Because if you think about, like, revisiting, like, past situations, that's a tough thing, because a lot of the times I think the whole 80-20 thing kind of happens when you're not talking to a person. All you remember are the good times and the fun times, like, oh, that was fun, that was great, and not realizing that was really only 20% of the time. And then when you get back with them, you were like, oh, this is why I stopped.
Yeah.
So I do think that anytime it's time to you're considering re-engaging with the situation or a friendship or any kind of ship that didn't work out before, it definitely, I think you have to dig a little bit deeper into those than even new connections and new relational interactions.
Yeah. I have no idea where we're going, by the way. I just got off this exit.
Why'd you get up here?
Because I don't know for sure, but I know all roads lead home.
She's like, I know-ish. I kind of know.
I think I might know.
Well, we'll figure it out.
Maybe I'll get back on the highway. Because I'm not quite sure where we are. You know what? So LT said something that I really that's LT when you said LaTanya, right?
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Okay.
And she just earned her share badge. Woohoo! You go, girl. Thank
you. So she mentioned the word, or maybe I heard it because that happens sometimes too. Patterns.
She didn't, but go.
Okay. So I heard it. So I think sometimes, especially when it comes to relationships, again, any type of ship that you're talking about, friendship, whatever it is, if there are patterns, we have to start looking at ourselves. What is going on right now? What happened? What did I say? You weren't even listening to me, were you? You were thinking about something completely different.
It was about relationships and ships and all of that stuff, but it went off into something totally different that we're not even talking about today. I'll tell you when we get off.
I know. My face is red because I feel like I know. I don't know, but I feel like I do.
I need to get my life together. This is not normal.
Okay. I told you I have a reaction to I need to get my life together. I feel like, you're doing really good.
So this is how, like, cultural differences, and we're going to have a show about this one day.
We have to.
But cultural differences, some of y'all know, like, when I be like, I need to get my life together, I'm not literally saying that my life is not together, but whenever I say it, the first time I said it, and Kat was like, no, honey, I think you're doing a really good job.
I'm like, we're doing planning sessions on Monday mornings. We're like,
she really thought I was saying like I sucked or something. Like, ew.
I still have a little bit of a like.
You still react. That's hilarious. Oh, Candace, love you too. Candace is on. But so what else? What we doing? We're talking about ships and stuff.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about when you say, "You better say it."
Yes, you better say it, honey.
I did say it. You didn't hear me?
Another cultural disconnect. When I say you better say it, she's like, I did say it. Oh my God, Kat, I can't with you.
Ah, goodness. Oh, whew.
How over are we? Are we over?
I don't know, but my gas light just came on.
Oh.
We're fine.
Oh, no. No, ma'am. No ham, no turkey. But I don't know when my gas light comes on, because I have it on like how many miles till empty. My gas light comes on at 40 miles. So I'm like, I'm good for like 37 more miles.
If it says 40, that means in my head, 45.
Right. It's really not good. We should probably stop doing that. I heard that makes your fuel pump go bad.
Oh, I feel like that's a
myth. This
I feel like it's
mechanic's myth.
Yeah. We need 330 to go to do like a Mythbusters type show.
Oh my God, is Scott on? He's not on. That'd be so cool.
Somebody text Scott and tell him we need a Mythbusters
episode. Okay. So, I'm going to recap really quick. I don't know. Oh, wait.
Oh, did you ask me how we are on time?
I did, and I don't know.
We're at 9:31 probably.
Okay. So, just going over, I'm going to go back through the 3 tangible takeaways for setting healthy boundaries when you want to salvage a relationship. Number 1 was take care in how you communicate the boundary. Make sure you're communicating it in a way that's fair to the other person. Allow a healthy margin for error is 2, because nobody's perfect. Just make sure you're allowing somebody time to actually make the changes that you're requesting. And 3 is know when the connection is no longer salvageable. So those are 3 tangible takeaways when you want to salvage a relationship. And next week we'll kind of dig a little bit deeper into 3, knowing when the connection is no longer worth strengthening, where we'll talk about healthy boundaries when you no longer want to salvage a relationship. We'll dig deeper into that, and that will round off our healthy boundaries episode.
Hey, I like that. Kind of worked out really well.
It did.
Didn't necessarily plan it, but
really
yeah. Thank you guys too for your feedback on it and kind of letting us know what you think about it. We've gotten messages like replay viewers, we've got inbox messages, we've got personal where people tell us. That's really cool when you run into somebody and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I loved that. So that was awesome.
And we hit 330 followers this week. If you did not see that post, we have
thank you guys for that.
We have more now. It's like 340 something.
Yeah.
So we are steadily growing. We appreciate everybody who gets on Saturday mornings. Just know we're here Saturday mornings. You can watch the replays on Facebook, or you can follow the SYLC Consulting, SYLC Consulting YouTube page. You can go to SYLCconsulting.com for more information on workshops and things that we offer. And I don't know, don't forget to steer. Don't forget to share the drive.
Yeah.
So hashtag share the drive. And we are, is that it?
I think that's it.
So that ends another episode of The Drive. We love you guys. We appreciate all of you guys. And we cannot wait to talk to you again next week. Have a good